nanometer, from fraction of nanometer to several micrometer. Now, if you think for coating, so coating will be thickness always will be higher than the thin film. Okay, so these are the some basic difference, but there are thickness, some thickness overlap is there. Like here we are talking about the micron, and in coating actually that we talked about, I mean little bit higher thickness, several micron kind of thing. So this thin film, where this thin film is being used, so thin film actually mostly used in that, these are the applications, some of the application, there are range of applications are there, but I just put it like solar cell devices. So nowadays actually like, I mean, like in Bangalore, what happened that there a lot of actually glass window, they are actually solar cell coating is there. So that entire day on top of the window, when sunlight will fall, it will store the energy, and nighttime it can illuminate this respective room. Okay. So biomedical devices, lot of actually biomedical devices actually that is run, I mean, that is driven by this, I mean, solar cell. Then biochemical devices, field effect transistor devices. So this is that bottom, you can see that one picture is there. So that this is actually nothing but a field effect transistor. So I just like to give one small example that what is that field effect transistor. So like actually if you recall your, I mean, I don't know how many students did this experiment like at your home. So nowadays actually that incandescent bulb is not there, but I mean like 10 years back actually this kind of yellow color bulb, have you seen that yellow color bulb, that incandescent bulb? So that is still is available with filament, is there, one filament is there, and then filament from the filament light it will illuminate the light. So in place of fan, if you just remove the fan and put a incandescent lamp, and then actually if you turn on the regulator, if you put one, what will happen that first you can see the only the filament. Then if you just slowly increase, so what will happen that you will see that intensity of the filament is increasing. Anyone did this experiment in the school? Anyone? Okay. So this is actually this why I am giving this example. Like in any display, you see the mobile phone, you have also smartphone. Okay. So in that mobile phone, if you purchase, they will tell that active matrix, that light emitting diode, or passive matrix light emitting diode. So this this LCD, so this like actually this active matrix light emitting diode. So what does it mean? So every in actually, let's say that you purchased one mobile phone, and it tells that let's say that 5 megapixel camera. So 5 megapixel, what does it mean? Can anyone tell? Anyone? What does it mean by 5 megapixel? Can anyone? What does it mean by the 5 megapixel?
So the resolution of the camera lens.
True, but 5 megapixel means 5 into 10 to the power 6. So what represent this number? 5 into 10 to the power 6 number of LEDs are there. Okay. So that is actually, and this number of LED, that is nothing but your, that whatever incandescent bulb. So how you are monitoring this or glowing this bulb? By using regulator. So this regulator is nothing but thin film transistor or field effect transistor device. So transistor is nothing but a switch there. It's actually, it's switched or amplifier. Anyway, I'm not going in details, but keep this example so that you will never forget. So then in any display, so if we talk about that incandescent bulb part, so that is actually nothing but light emitting diode. And if you talk about the regulator part, that is nothing but field effect transistor device. Okay. So these are the basic things. Now in the field effect transistor device, that thin film technology is extensively used. In light emitting diode also, thin film technology is extensively used. Then photovoltaic devices. Nowadays, plenty of examples are there. Photovoltaic everywhere in our, I mean, the domestic appliance also it's coming, and in our rooftop, that water water heating arrangement is also coming. So a lot of actually photovoltaic devices is actually nowadays coming. And then energy storage devices, so that is also nowadays this like actually cup of the tea, like everywhere that people are talking about that energy storage devices, how to store the energy in respect different matter. It could be hydrogen energy, it could be some other renewable energy, different. Okay, could be kind of fuel cell kind of thing. So or water splitting, from the water splitting you can get the energy, lot of this. Then the sensor devices. So sensor devices again, that there are also a lot of applications are there. Anti-fouling devices. So in anti-fouling devices, this is also important. Like in coastal area, this is mostly important, like anti-fouling. So like in marine, like actually marine, like part, whatever will be exposed to the sea, there is a lot of algae, barnacle shell. This will accumulate. If you just go to the dockyard, there you can see that below that ship or below the boat or below this whatever that speedboat kind of thing, the lot of accumulation. So these people are actually looking for how to, I mean, make some coating, anti-fouling coating, so this can be removed. This is one application. Another one, like in our water purifier. So in water purifier again, that there is a lot of accumulation is there. So in that water purifier, actually if you have this kind of anti-fouling devices, so that means that filter life can be enhanced kind of thing. So then thermoelectric devices, there also can be used. Light emitting diode, already I told some example. And then memory device, so that is also another, I mean, very promising application nowadays. People are, lot of work is going on the memory device. So now you might be thinking that this is a metallurgy department class, but he is talking about electronics. Absolutely not. But in thin film, actually till now, major applications in electronic sector. But in coating, I will come there. Actually in engineering sector, or in particular in metallurgy domain, plenty of applications are there. So last class already I gave this example. So in general, physical vapor deposition. So how this physical vapor deposition is happening? So you should have first one closed chamber that should be in vacuum. Then whatever that you see the bottom one heater is there. So some heating arrangement will be there. And this, to understand the mechanism, that right side you see that one bottle, cold water bottle, and on top of bottle that, yeah, means from that moisture, last class I gave the example that it will condense. So this condensation is happening in case of thin film deposition. So how it's happening? From this heater, actually it will evaporate. And when it will evaporate, that let's say that it's silver or gold. So gold, actually it will come to the atomic state, and in evaporation, evaporated metal, and those metal then will condense slowly on the substrate. And this condensation we nothing but it's called actually deposition of thin film, or we called it thin film. And this thin film actually thickness range from actually fraction of nanometer to several micron size. That depends on the application. So this is very much important. Every application has their own requirement. So that's why there are plenty of applications. I gave the example. So now actually, to understand the thin film, what we need to understand that basic mechanism, how this actually, I mean, after first actually that how this how to get the vacuum in the chamber. So vacuum technology we need to understand. Second, actually when it will the liquid, I mean it will actually, let's say, melt, and then it will evaporate. So then atom, which path it will follow to reach to that, to travel to this substrate. Okay, so that is actually it we need to understand that actually kinetics of this particular this material, I mean in let's say that vapor state. And let's say that actually in case of aluminum, I can just vacuum chamber, I can melt that aluminum coil, and aluminum will be deposited. But if I want to deposit Al2O3, so then which method should I use? Because Al2O3, so aluminum melting point is around 660, but whereas Al2O3 aluminum melting point is 2064. So that if I go for melting route, then 2064 I need to reach. So that high temperature actually, I mean, it's sometimes not industrial viable and not a good practice. At least in this case, I'm talking about 2500, but in case of actually boride or carbide, that melting point could be more than 3000. So that is practically impossible, or it's impossible. I mean, experimentally impossible to reach that temperature to melt. So in that case, actually, rather than this melting route or physical vapor deposition, we need to look for some other technique like chemical vapor deposition or others. So that is also very important. So what is that kinetics will be there, and according to that you need to select that mechanism. And finally, that deposition mechanism, how the deposition is happening. Okay, so when atom will coming on the substrate, then actually how it will sit and how it will form that film. So this is actually thin film deposition technique, how we can I mean classified like physical vapor deposition. So in physical vapor deposition, the thermal evaporation, that is actually already previous class I talked about PVD. So that is actually, then pulse laser deposition, that is I'll talk about molecular beam epitaxy, and then sputtering. The sputtering, these are actually all the examples of physical vapor deposition. Now the chemical vapor deposition like metal organic CVD, low pressure CVD, atmospheric pressure CVD, plasma NN CVD. And CVD, I'm telling you, is very important in terms of metallurgy, because in CVD actually you can make a hard coating, because the CVD, the deposition chamber always will be at high temperature. So whatever at high temperature you will make the coating, that will be very robust coating and very hard. Whereas in physical vapor deposition, whatever deposition will be done, so that is actually we never bothered about how is the hardness of the material film, how is that actually, I mean strength of the film, how robustness of the film, because their purpose is actually kind of in electronic application rather than their electronic performance is more important. But in chemical vapor deposition, they are actually at high temperature deposition. They are actually we can get it this very high kind of robust coating. Then electro deposition, so electroplating and electroless plating, that is also we'll discuss. And some another actually some solution based chemistry, so like actually chemical bath deposition, and then sol gel, spin coating, deep coating, then inkjet, gravure, screen printing, spray pyrolysis. Now in this slide actually I didn't why I didn't show that thermal technique like actually a plasma spray, then actually this kind of technique, because that is actually will always give you high thickness coating. So thin film you never get, so that's why I didn't put it in this slide, that one. So when I talked about the coating, definitely that will come. So particularly in metallurgy point of view, two technique is extremely important, and in majority of this metallurgy industry they are using nowadays, like chemical vapor deposition, sputtering, as well as this plasma spray or thermal spray coating, but rather than say the thermal spray coating. Okay, so these things actually all the technique we'll understand, and how its application in metallurgy. So this is actually physical vapor deposition. So physical vapor deposition, I mean again that here majority of the metal, it's very efficient technique for metal deposition, and in different metal actually in deposited in case of electronic application. So that is I think that as a metallurgist can do the better job, because they have the much better knowledge about the different metal. So last class I already talked about the physical vapor deposition. So in physical vapor deposition, how it's happening and what is the basic principle. Now here another one, e-beam evaporation. So in e-beam evaporation, what is happening? So in physical vapor deposition, I talked about there is a boat. Once again, just recap of the last class. So in this, this is a boat is there. In that boat, you need to put the metal. Then by using the resistive heating, that metal will melt, and it will first of all that chamber will be in the vacuum. That is the first condition. So this is actually the vacuum arrangement. So chamber should be in the vacuum. After getting the sufficient vacuum, and before putting the vacuum, what you I mean you I'll tell that entire process. So first, you have to open the chamber. You have to put in this place that, let's say you want to deposit gold. So gold piece you need to put it. Whatever substrate you want to deposit, that substrate you can see the blue color, that is substrate. You have to fix it here. Okay. And you have to make sure that thickness monitoring is working perfectly. Then you, and shutter should be closed. Then you close the chamber, turn on the vacuum, and you will reach when the sufficient vacuum, then you start this heater here, power supply. Heater, what they will do, they will start here resistive heating method, that is they will melt this metal and then it will evaporate and it will start coming. So when you see that actually it's coming and it's initially it will deposit on thickness monitor, then when you see that okay it's kind of standardized or this is stable, let's say that I want 10 nanometer per second, okay, or 1 nanometer per second, I need this rate of the deposition. So when it is reached, in that condition I will open the shutter and it allowed to deposit. Then let's say I want only 100 nanometer. So when 100 nanometer will be finished, immediately I will close the shutter. Okay, and then this slowly I'll reduce this power supply temperature so that deposition will be stopped. So that is actually how it's happening. Okay, and it will be actually now question, you might be some question might be there. So there is a chance of oxidation. So in high vacuum there is a chance is less, because we are doing in high vacuum, that chance is less. But in EVIM, what is happening? Same arrangement. You can see this is a thickness monitoring instrument. This is actually where your deposition will be there, and this is the shutter. But in this case, crucible is there. In the crucible, let's say that gold you want to melt. So gold pieces will be kept here. And by using that electron source, so electron gun. So electron gun, what that will do, electron gun using that focused electron will be placed here, and wherever it will be focused, immediately it will be, there will be a local melting and evaporation, and then evaporated material will come. So PVD and E-beam, electron beam evaporation, E-beam evaporation is the basically the same. Only in physical vapor deposition we are using this resistive heating, but in case of electron beam evaporation, some electron gun source is there, and that focused electron gun actually is doing the melting. So any questions so far? You please ask. Then I'll go to the next. Because this class actually you can ask more question. Because in 4th year class, rather than actually marks, that part actually last class you have seen that how the marks is there. So marks part actually no need to bother about, rather than the learning is most important. So next is that CVD. So chemical vapor deposition. So in chemical vapor deposition, what is happening? So you can see that there is a gas inlet. Okay. So gas inlet, and this gas, and this is actually one furnace or heat source or heating chamber is there. In that heating chamber, substrate will be placed. So gas, whatever inlet gas, this gas reaction will happen. And after the reaction, what will happen? That resultant, that material will deposit on top of substrate. Since this is a very high temperature and up to 1000 degree we can reach in this chemical vapor deposition. So that means that you can imagine that how strong or robust coating or hard coating we can make it in chemical vapor deposition. And then after the reaction, some unwanted gas or sometimes some unused gas, some unreacted gas, that is also will come out from the chamber. Okay. So now in the similar technology, that plasma enhanced CVD, so that is also very popular technology. So using that plasma, this reaction is happening. So carrier gas or source gas inlet is there, and here the plasma is being generated. So can you tell how plasma can be generated? Can anyone? How plasma can be generated? How thunder is happening? How thunder is happening? Can anyone? Can anyone?
So when a ionized cloud come to close together and a high potential is generated, then a thunder occurs.
Correct, correct. So same thing is happening. So between two electrode, so high potential, in that case actually potential between cloud and earth. Okay. So cloud and earth potential will be high, and ambient should be wet. Wet means actually moisture will be there, and sometimes moisture should contain some ionic charge. So ionic particle, like in this coastal area, sodium ion easily they can carry. So then actually what will happen? Then they will, this when there will be a sufficient potential will be generated in between two potential, that like it will try to make a leakage path, and this leakage path is nothing but thunder. And in Western Ghats, some of the area thunder is more. Why? Because in earth, actually in that case, actually some of the area, their magnetite or hematite amount is very high, and as a result what is happening, it act as a good electrode, and that electrode that enhance this mechanism of short circuiting, and that's why thunder is very prominent in some of these Western Ghat hill. So this in plasma. So plasma is actually fourth state of matter, and it's mixed of this ionized, so ionized gas, and it's formed. That how this ionized gas will form, that is actually I'll talk about in sputtering, I'll talk about. So like actually if you bombard that actually electron with that some neutral gas, so it will be ionized, and then actually plasma will generate, and this plasma will have very high temperature, and that will actually accelerate the reaction in between the carrier gas, and finally it will deposit on top of substrate. Any questions so far from CBD? Okay, so next actually I'm moving to this. At what time that your next class is there, Utsav?
At 10,
Oh.
MT440.
Oh, okay. So actually, just I'll take just 2-3 minutes extra, okay? Because that I joined late, so please allow me to take 2-3 minutes. I'll not take more time. So this sputtering is one of the most popular, widely used technique. Okay. So in sputtering, actually, what is happening? So what does it mean by the sputtering? Sputtering means actually splitting. Okay, splitting. So in Hindi, thukna. Okay, so sputtering. So that is actually this word. No, how it's happening? Why it's this one. So in sputtering, what happened? You need one target material. What does it mean by that target material? Let's say I want to deposit Al2O3. I should have one target material made of the same composition of Al2O3. Then what will happen? I need to purge argon gas inside the chamber, and electron gun will be there. So this electron will bombard to that argon. Argon will make argon plus, and this whatever the cathode target and substrate will be on top of anode or anode side. Potential will generate in between anode and cathode. So what will happen? Argon plus, whatever argon after collision with electron, it will form argon plus. So that there also some plasma state will generate, and this argon will be attracted, argon plus, towards cathode, and it will bombard, or it will this let's allow to, I mean it will actually knocked out or removed that metal ion or oxygen from, I mean anion and cation from the substrate, and it will deposit on this from this target, and it will deposit on the substrate. Now your question is that in this picture oxygen is there. So there are two kinds of, I mean I'll talk about four kind of sputtering is there. So one called reactive sputtering. So in reactive sputtering, let's say I want to deposit Al2O3. So I'll use only aluminium and I'll purge oxygen. So what will happen? This aluminium, when argon plus will bombard and aluminium will eject, okay, that is from the target. This aluminium actually it will be in atomic state, and it will easily combine with oxygen, and it will form Al2O3, and then finally that Al2O3 will reach to the substrate. That is the idea. So there are two way can be done. This entire target can be made of some oxides, and this is one of that efficient technique for oxide deposition, because as I told, in physical vapor deposition, that melting temperature requirement is very high. You need very high temperature to melt. So that is not at all feasible. So that's why the sputtering became very popular. Okay. And this sputtering actually any kind of oxides that you can maintain the same stoichiometry with that target material as well as that this substrate. But one problem is that suppose you want to deposit on unknown material, so then actually how to get the target? So then you have to prepare your target material, because unknown material means you have to see, you maybe synthesize that material, some new material, multi-component oxide. And like in superconductor, any superconductor is always multi-component oxide, like 5 elements, 6 elements, 7 elements are there. Okay, 7 metal ions are there. So this kind of multi-component oxides, you have to prepare first your target material, and then only that you can go for that sputtering. So once again I am explaining the mechanism. Whatever, let's say you want to deposit some oxide, same or similar oxide, you should have one target material that will be act as a cathode, and substrate should be on that anode side, and argon need to be purged in the chamber, and chamber initially will be vacuum. In vacuum, then only you need to purge that argon. Then one electron gun will be there. From electron gun, electron will purge, electron will knock to the argon, and it will make argon plus, and some plasma will generate. Okay, and then this argon plus actually will be attracted towards this cathode side, and it will knock on the cathode, and that anion and cation both will ejected from there itself, and it will deposit on substrate, and it will make that similar material. And there is very few important parameter like target and substrate distance, and this like actually continuous plasma generation. These are actually very important stage. Like let's say that if argon plus number is reduced, then actually plasma generation will be reduced, and sputtering rate will be less. So that part actually, that is when I'll talk about the sputtering, I'll talk about. And in sputtering commonly used, like if you go to scanning electron microscopy, so every sample should be conducting on top of the surface, should be conducting. So like if you go for metallic sample, maybe no problem, but if you go with other sample, you have to make it conducting. So then you have to deposit that gold on top of that substrate, then only you can see that surface topography by scanning electron microscopy. So now another thing is that absorption and adsorption. These are very important, and with the schematic cartoon, these two terminology need not to be confused in throughout the class, I mean subject. This absorption, so absorption means it will go inside, adsorption means it will sit on the surface. So in this case, that absorption, this is adsorption, so on the surface, and absorption means it will diffuse. So this is a nice funny example is there, like actually when you're eating, so it is actually kind of absorption. But when this on your birthday, that your friends actually put that entire cake on top of your face, so that is actually kind of funny example of adsorption. Okay, so this is actually, with this one I just finish it, and next class I'll talk about this. I'll go in that process of this thin film. Okay, so and through your here I think I sent the list of the student, so you can form easily that your that committee. Okay, this committee means actually like team member. So two team member for this 20%, 20 to 25%. This one weightage will be there. So that is actually you can use it. Okay, and that's all. So Utsav, you can make it this team. Okay, so 27, so means actually one student has